All right, so Mount Kailash, huh? It's got you thinking, right?
Yeah, it's one of those places that just grabs hold of your imagination and won't let go.
Exactly. You've seen the pictures, the stunning pyramid shape. It's in Tibet, over 21,000 feet high.
Real giant.
And it's not just the looks. This mountain is sacred. I mean, to several religions, Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, Bonpo.
They all see it as a powerful, holy place. Even the axis mundi, the center of the world, in some beliefs.
Okay, so we've got this incredibly significant mountain, right? Revered for centuries. But here's the thing that always gets me. No one's ever climbed to the summit.
Yeah, that's the big mystery, isn't it? You'd think, with all the experienced climbers out there, someone would have conquered it by now.
Right. It's not like it's hidden away or anything, but there's this persistent belief locally that climbing Kailash is like a huge no-no.
A sacrilege, they say,
Yeah.
angering the gods who reside there.
Right. And, we're not here to judge anyone's beliefs, but that cultural context is a big part of how people approach the mountain.
Absolutely, it shapes the whole narrative around Kailash. But even if you set aside those beliefs, there are some pretty strange things that happen around the mountain. Unexplained events that are, well, hard to ignore.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, tons of climbers and even trekkers who go near Kailash report these weird magnetic anomalies.
Magnetic anomalies, huh? So more than just a feeling, what kind of stuff actually happens?
Oh, it's wild. Compasses go haywire, spinning around like crazy. Electronics malfunction. It's like the mountain itself messes with technology.
Whoa, okay, so that's not just people being spooked. There's something actually going on. Is there any, scientific backing to this? Or is it all just anecdotal?
Well, there have been studies. They show that the magnetic field around Kailash is uh, unusual to say the least. Compasses can deviate significantly from true north. So there's definitely something measurable happening.
So we've got these magnetic anomalies. Could this be connected to, I don't know, those unseen energy forces that people talk about around Kailash?
It's an intriguing possibility, for sure. I mean, think about it. The idea that certain places, especially sacred ones, could emanate some kind of energy. It's a concept that pops up in cultures all over the world.
Right, it's not just a Kailash thing. But how do we square that with, what we know about science? Are we talking about something measurable, or is this more of a, I don't know, spiritual kind of energy?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
It's hard to say for certain. Some researchers think it could be linked to the geology of the mountain. Maybe there are deposits of iron ore or something that could be messing with the magnetic field. Or maybe it's something deeper, some geophysical process we don't fully grasp yet.
Okay, so we've got the science side of things, but I'm also curious about the human element. Are there stories, personal accounts from people who have been near Kailash and experienced something truly strange, something they can't explain?
Oh, absolutely. There are tons of stories out there. One that always sticks with me is about this Tibetan monk, Lama Dorje. He's lived his whole life in the shadow of Mount Kailash.
Wow, that's got to be powerful. What's his story?
Well, he talks about seeing a ball of light near the summit. But it wasn't just any light. It was moving in ways that just seemed impossible, defying the laws of physics.
A ball of light. Okay, so that's specific. Did anyone else see this, or was it just him?
He tried to film it,
Mm.
but every time he pointed his camera at the light, it would just vanish.
Huh, that's weird. So it wasn't a case of, oh, I saw something shiny. It's more like, I tried to document it, but something stopped me. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Do you think this light could be connected to those potential energy forces we were talking about? Or are we dealing with something totally different here?
It's tough to say for sure. It's one of those things that just adds to the mystery of Kailash. Could be connected, could be something else entirely.
Mm.
And that's what makes it so fascinating.
It's not just the people who react strangely around Kailash. There are stories of animals, especially yaks, behaving really oddly near the mountain. And, yaks are usually pretty sure-footed, especially in mountainous terrain.
Exactly. You'd think they'd be right at home there. But there's this one story about an American traveler, Samantha Parker. She was trekking around Kailash with a local guide, and as they got close to the base of the mountain, their yaks just stopped.
Wait, like they just refused to go any further? What happened?
Yeah, they became super agitated. One even collapsed. The guide, who was a seasoned local, just looked at Samantha and said, "The mountain is telling us to turn back."
Okay, that's creepy. What did they do?
Well, they turned around, obviously, and as soon as they started moving away from the mountain, the yaks calmed right down. Like whatever was affecting them was tied to that specific area.
That's a pretty powerful detail. Makes you think there's some kind of threshold, some point where the mountain just pushes back, I guess you can say.
It's definitely a compelling observation, and it just adds another layer to the mystery of Mount Kailash. Pushback is an interesting way to put it. A lot of cultures actually believe that Mount Kailash is, well, kind of like a sacred site, a place where the line between our world and other, I guess you could say, realms is really thin.
Wait, so are we talking about, like, different dimensions here, other realities? It sounds like we're heading into sci-fi territory.
Yeah, kinda. And it ties into those strange lights we were discussing earlier. Some people think they could be, I don't know, interdimensional beings
Mm.
or energies like things from another dimension showing up in our world.
Okay, that's fascinating, but also a pretty big jump.
Mhm.
Is there any evidence beyond, people seeing lights to suggest that there could be interdimensional beings? How would we even tell those apart from, I don't know, some natural light phenomenon that we just don't understand yet?
Yeah, that's a good question and a tough one to answer. It's hard to study this kind of thing. It doesn't exactly lend itself to traditional scientific methods.
So we're kind of stuck with these personal experiences, cultural beliefs, and scientific data that doesn't quite fit into our current understanding.
Exactly. And that's what makes Mount Kailash so captivating. It challenges us to think outside the box, to consider possibilities that we might not normally entertain.
It's interesting that these beliefs about Kailash, like being a portal or a gateway, they've been around for centuries. Do you think there could be some truth to them? Or are we just, projecting our desire for the extraordinary onto a place we don't fully understand?
It's a question that's been around for a long time. Explorers, spiritual seekers, scientists, they've all been asking it. And honestly, we might never have a definitive answer. But the fact that the question even exists, I think it speaks to something deeper about us, our desire to understand the universe and our place in it.
I think you're right. Even if we can't definitively prove the existence of, say, other dimensions or interdimensional beings through our usual scientific methods,
Yeah.
the fact that these experiences and beliefs about Kailash are so persistent, it suggests that there's something more to this place than we currently grasp.
I agree. And that's what makes Kailash such a powerful symbol. It represents the unknown, the mysterious, all the things that we just don't understand yet. It encourages us to keep questioning, to keep searching for answers.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that we still have so much to learn about our world and about the universe. Maybe there are some things that we're not meant to know, at least not yet. Like maybe we haven't developed the tools or even the way of thinking to understand them.
Maybe you're right. But the mystery itself, that's what makes it so wonderful and inspiring. It fuels our curiosity, our imagination. It keeps us exploring and discovering new things. Who knows what we might find as we keep digging into the mysteries of Mount Kailash?
It's exciting to think that we might someday have the technology or the understanding to unlock the secrets of this incredible mountain. Or maybe, maybe the mountain itself will reveal its secrets when the time is right, when we're ready for them.
It's definitely a possibility. But until then, we can appreciate the wonder and the mystery that Kailash represents.
When we started this deep dive, we wanted to figure out why Mount Kailash is so fascinating. And it feels like we've learned a ton of interesting stuff, but also like we've barely scratched the surface.
I agree. And that's the beauty of exploring topics like this. The more you learn, the more you realize how much more there is to learn. It opens up all these new paths to explore, new perspectives to consider, new ways of seeing the world.
It's like peeling an onion, only to find another onion underneath, and another, and another. The journey never really ends.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And it's so true. That's what keeps us coming back for more. So where do we go from here? What are some of the key things we want our listeners to take away from all of this?
Well, I think the most important thing is that Mount Kailash is just this incredibly mysterious and wondrous place. It's a place that defies easy explanations, It makes us really question what we think we know about the world.
It's a place where science and spirituality come together,
Yeah.
where ancient beliefs and modern perspectives clash. And it reminds us that there's still so much out there that we just don't know, so much left to discover.
And maybe, just maybe, some things are better left unknown, at least for now. The mystery itself, it holds a certain kind of magic, a sense of wonder that we wouldn't want to lose.
You might be right. But the human spirit, it's always going to be drawn to the unknown, to those mysteries that beckon us to explore, to push the boundaries of what we think is possible.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. The mysteries of Mount Kailash, they're going to continue to fascinate us, to make us curious, to remind us that the world is a much stranger and more amazing place than we often realize.
It really is. And, it's incredible how Mount Kailash has held on to its mystery for so long. Even in our modern age, with all our technology and information, it's still an enigma, a place that science struggles to fully explain.
It's like it resists our attempts to define it, to put it into a neat little box.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so compelling. It forces us to confront the limits of our own understanding, to acknowledge that there might be forces at work in the universe that we don't even have a concept for yet.
So, to our listener who's been with us down this Mount Kailash rabbit hole, what would you say is the one thing they should take away from all of this? The thing that'll stick with them long after they've finished listening?
I think the most important thing is to remember that Mount Kailash is more than just a mountain. It's a symbol. It represents the power of mystery, the allure of the unknown. It represents that human need to wrestle with things that we can't explain.
And whether you approach it from a scientific perspective, a spiritual perspective, or just pure curiosity, Kailash challenges you to expand your sense of what's possible.
Yeah, it asks us to question our assumptions, to accept that we don't know everything, and to be open to the possibility that the universe is far more vast and mysterious than we can imagine.
I love that. It's a good reminder that even in a world where it feels like we've figured everything out, there are still places, ideas, things that retain that sense of wonder.
And Mount Kailash is a perfect example of that. It's a testament to the enduring power of mystery.
So, to our listener, if you're feeling that spark of curiosity, that urge to learn more about Mount Kailash, don't ignore it, embrace it. There's a whole world of fascinating information out there waiting for you.
And who knows, maybe someday you'll even make the journey to Kailash yourself and experience its mysteries firsthand.
That would be an incredible adventure. But until then, we hope this deep dive has given you a glimpse of the wonder and intrigue that surrounds this truly extraordinary mountain.
And hey, maybe it's left you with more questions than answers. And that's okay. Sometimes the questions are more valuable than the answers. They keep us curious, keep us searching, keep us exploring. And that's what makes life so interesting.
Beautifully said. And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the mysteries of Mount Kailash. We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have.
Until next time, keep exploring.
It really is amazing, how Mount Kailash keeps its secrets so close. We've talked about all this stuff, magnetic weirdness, strange lights, even interdimensional beings, and yet it's like we're just circling around the real heart of the matter, never quite getting a clear picture.
It's true. Mount Kailash seems to resist every attempt we make to, label it, categorize it, fit it into our neat little boxes of knowledge. It kind of forces us to consider, what if there are things happening in the universe that we haven't even begun to understand? Things beyond our current science.
Yeah, I get that feeling. It's almost like, I don't know, the mountain is a living thing, aware of us trying to figure it out, and it's choosing to stay mysterious.
That's a fascinating idea. It makes you think about, the power of belief, how
Yeah.
our perceptions can shape reality.
Yeah, exactly. Like, generations of people have believed that Mount Kailash is sacred, a portal, a gateway to other realms. What if those beliefs themselves are actually contributing to the weird stuff that happens there?
Worth thinking about, for sure. We talk about the power of the mind, right, to influence the physical world. But what if it's more than that? What if the beliefs of entire cultures could, shape the actual fabric of reality in certain places?
Whoa, that's a wild thought. But it does fit with those stories about the mountain pushing back against climbers. Almost like there's some kind of energetic barrier created by the combined energy of those beliefs.
Exactly. It brings us back to that idea. Mount Kailash isn't just a mountain, it's a symbol of the unknown, the unknowable.
So, for everyone listening who's been on this journey with us, exploring Mount Kailash and all its mysteries, what's the big takeaway? What's the thing they should hold on to after this deep dive?
I think the biggest thing to remember is that Mount Kailash shows us the limits of what we know. It reminds us that there are things in this universe that might always be beyond our understanding. And that's okay.
It's like a call to be humble, right? To recognize that our knowledge is always growing, always changing.
Absolutely. And maybe the most important lesson Mount Kailash teaches us is that mystery itself is something to be treasured. It's what sparks our curiosity, our imagination, our desire to explore.
It reminds us that even in a world where it feels like we've discovered everything, there are still places, ideas, phenomena that can fill us with wonder.
And that feeling of wonder, that drive to explore what we don't know, it's at the very core of what makes us human.
That's a beautiful way to put it. So, to everyone listening, if you've been captivated by Mount Kailash and its mysteries, don't let the questions stop here. Keep researching, keep exploring, keep that spark of curiosity burning bright.
And hey, who knows? Maybe someday you'll find yourself standing at the foot of Mount Kailash, experiencing its mysteries firsthand.
That would be an incredible journey. But until then, we hope this deep dive has given you a taste of the wonder and the intrigue that this amazing mountain holds. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of Mount Kailash. We've loved having you along for the ride.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody, and keep on exploring.